I got back to Fort Hood less than 24 hours ago. My duffel bag is still by the door of my apartment, half unzipped, boots tossed next to it. 12 months in, Kuwait left me craving a shower, a real bed, and coffee that didn't taste like burnt engine oil. This morning, I'm standing in my kitchen with a mug of decent coffee. Still in my army t-shirt, scrolling through my phone to catch up on life at home. A photo pops up from my aunt's Facebook. At first, it doesn't register. White tents in a backyard. Rows of tables covered in coral-colored cloth. Champagne glasses raised. I swipe. Another photo. This time I zoom in. My sister Brianna is front and center in a white dress with a flower crown, smiling like a commercial for happiness. Every cousin is there. People from our church are there. Even great-aunt Judith, who hasn't flown in years, is sitting in the front row with a walker. My heart starts racing because it's clear this is her bridal shower. I set the mug down too hard and coffee splashes across the counter, sliding toward my uniform jacket that's hanging on a chair. For a second, I forget to move it. I just stare at the screen, counting faces. 39 guests. I scroll again and again like maybe one picture will have me in the corner. Nothing. Not a text, not an invite, not even a wish you were here. I sit at the table with my phone. It's not the first time Brianna has been the star, but this is the first time they didn't even pretend to include me. Last month from Kuwait, I sent her a handwritten congratulations card with pressed wildflowers. I offered to design her invitations for free. She never responded, but I assumed she was busy. I opened the family group chat. It's filled with emojis, inside jokes, talk about the big day. Scrolling back, I see my number was removed from the chat months ago. That's when my stomach drops. This wasn't an oversight. It's coordinated. I dial my mom before I can think about it. She picks up on the third ring. Riley, are you okay? She asks in that tone that sounds concerned, but really isn't. I just saw pictures of Brianna's bridal shower. I say, why wasn't I invited? There's a pause, then a sigh. Honey, we didn't want to put pressure on you after your deployment. Brianna deserves her special day. Omen pressure. My voice stays even, but my hand is shaking. You think me showing up would ruin her day? Please don't start. You know how things get with you two, she says. This is exactly what we were trying to avoid. It's like being slapped. She's using the same words she used when I got my commission and she told everyone I'd changed. So I'm drama now, I ask. It's not personal, she says. She always says that. I hang up before she can spin it further. Years of deployments taught me to cut off bad comms fast. I pull up Aunt Loris's number and hit call. She answers like she's been waiting. Why wasn't I invited to the bridal shower? We thought you'd ask, she says without a trace of apology. Brianna deserves a day that's just hers. You showing up in uniform and talking about deployments would shift the focus. I'm her sister, I say. Blood doesn't give you a free pass to ruin things, she snaps. Some relationships in this family are already strained. Don't make this bigger than it needs to be. I hang up again. My hands are steady now. The apartment feels small but clear. I go back to the group chat and see a message pop up in real time. It's from Aunt Dolores to Mom and Brianna. Good thing we didn't invite Riley. Less drama. Before I can screenshot it, it vanishes. But my reflexes from the army kick in. I already hit capture. The evidence sits on my screen like a classified memo. I lean back in my chair, looking at the uniform jacket drying on the chair, the boots by the door, and the screenshot in my hand. 12 months of convoys, spreadsheets, and supply chain chaos couldn't rattle me like one bridal shower at home. I came back thinking I'd finally be part of something normal. Instead, I'm being erased from my own family story. I put the phone down and start making mental notes the way I do before a logistics briefing. Who knew what? Who said what? What dates? This isn't just about being left out of a party. They've been building a narrative about me while I was gone. And if I don't track it, they'll tell everyone I chose not to be there. Outside my window, the Texas sun is already brutal. Inside, my coffee's gone cold. I glance at my watch and realize I've been sitting here for 40 minutes replaying every holiday. Every time Brianna got praised while my own news was brushed aside, my pulse is still high, but the training kicks in. Breathe, assess, plan. I open a blank note on my phone and start typing dates, times, names, direct quotes. It feels clinical, but it's the only thing that calms me. If they're going to tell a story about me, I'll have the receipts. The phone buzzes again. A text from Mom. Don't make this harder than it has to be. Brianna needs peace. Another from Aunt Dolores. You should be proud of her from a distance. My thumb hovers over reply, but I don't type anything right now. Silence is my only leverage. I close the phone and look around my apartment. The duffel bag still by the door. My uniform still hanging over the chair with a coffee stain creeping across the sleeve. There's a stack of unopened mail on the first calls home. Gaslighting and family drama unfold counter. Life paused for a year while I was overseas. And apparently my place in the family paused too, just long enough for them to write me out. I pour another cup of coffee, grab paper towels, and wipe the counter. My movements are automatic, but my mind is running scenarios. What do they tell the rest of the family? That I'm too busy with the army to show up? That I declined? I've seen how fast a false narrative spreads in a unit when no one checks it. Families aren't much different. My phone lights up again with a new notification. A cousin posts a photo from the bridal shower captioned, "Best day ever with family." I zoom in. Brianna's laughing. My mom's clapping. Aunt Dolores is front row center. No one's even looking at the camera. They look comfortable, complete, like I never existed. I take a breath and hit save on my notes. The coffee is cooling again. My boots are still by the door. My uniform stained but salvageable. This isn't the homecoming I expected, but it's the one I got. And as much as they think I'm going to sit quietly and let them write the story, they don't know me as well as they think they do. My thumb hovers over the screen as I swipe open my notes again. The list of names, dates, and quotes is already 2 pages long, but my chest still feels tight. I tap the call button for Mom without even thinking. The ringtone sounds like it's stretching out the silence in my apartment. She answers faster this time. "Riley, you sound upset," she says in that practice calm. "I'm not upset," I tell her. "I'm asking for an explanation. You're fresh off a deployment. You're tired. Don't make a scene." "I'm not making a scene, Mom. I'm asking why I wasn't invited to my own sister's bridal shower." "That was Aunt Dolores's decision," she says quickly. "You know how Brianna gets. We just wanted her day to be perfect." "Perfect without me," I ask. "You always find a way to shift attention." She says, "People have been worried about your behavior. You talk too much about the army. You intimidate people." I hold the phone away for a second and stare at the ceiling. This is textbook. She's feeding me a line and expecting me to swallow it. I spent a year running supply chains in a combat zone. I say, "I think I can handle a bridal shower without causing a riot." She sigh. "Please don't start. We've already been covering some of your property taxes, Riley. Don't make this harder." I blink. There it is. The soft thread under the concern. I pull the phone back to my ear. "You're using money you offered as leverage," I say. "Do you even hear yourself? Think about the family." She snaps, then lowers her voice. "You know how the veterans groups are. We don't want rumors about you being unstable." I almost laugh. "Rumors from who?" "Aunt Dolores. Just don't make this bigger than it needs to be," she says. I end the call. My fingers don't shake this time. Instead, I hit record on my phone and then dial Aunt Dolores. She picks up on the first ring. "Well," she says, like I've kept her waiting. "I want to hear from you," I say. "You shouldn't be at the wedding events," she says. "Brianna deserves to shine. You're in uniform half the time. You make everything about you." "I'm in uniform because I serve the country," I tell her. She snorts. "Here we go. You'll turn event this into a mission briefing." "I'm her sister," I say again. "Blood doesn't mean you get to ruin her day." "We've all talked about this," she says. "Don't push or you'll regret it." I'm recording this call," I say flatly. She goes silent for a beat, then hangs up. I set the phone down and stare at it. In less than 5 minutes, they've shown me exactly how far they'll go. Gaslighting, money threats, smearing my reputation. They're playing politics like it's a board game. The apartment feels hotter. I grab a bottle of water from the fridge and lean against the counter. The cool plastic under my palm steadies me. I've done convoy briefings in 120° heat with mortars landing outside the fence. I can handle this. My phone buzzes again. It's a text from Mom. "Don't tell people you weren't invited. It will just cause drama." Another from Dolores. "You should be proud of your sister instead of jealous." I stare at the screen and don't respond. They're not even subtle. I pick up my notebook and flip to a clean page. May 3. Call with mom. Implied threat about property taxes. Call with Dolores. Said I ruined things. Mentioned we've all talked about this. I write it out like a report. Exact words. No interpretation. I think about last Thanksgiving, the way Aunt Dolores announced Brianna's promotion like it was a Nobel Prize and then turned to me with, "Still doing that little hobby." That little hobby funded my condo. That little hobby built a portfolio of national clients. And yet here I am, losing my contract after speaking up about the wedding being treated like the unstable one. My phone buzzes again. Group text notification from a cousin. Can't wait for Brianna's wedding weekend. It's like a drumbeat in my head. I set the phone face down and walk to the window. Outside, the parking lot is quiet except for a guy walking his dog. I breathe out slowly and feel the stiffness in my shoulders. My army training taught me to spot patterns. The pattern here is control. They've built a narrative about me while I was gone, and now they're enforcing it with silence, threats, and fake concern. I go back to the counter, grab my laptop, and open a new file. Title, Family Comms. I start a timeline from last year. Deployment dates? The card I sent Brianna offers to help with wedding materials. Silence from them. Removal from group chat. The facts line up like coordinates on a map. Another text pops up. Good thing we didn't invite Riley. Less drama this time. It's in the family chat, but somehow hits my phone. Maybe someone added me back by mistake. My thumb hits screenshot before the bubble even disappears. Evidence saved. The message vanishes a second later, but it's too late. I sit down, legs braced, phone in one hand. The screenshot glows like a green light. They can delete messages, but not my copy. My pulse slows, not because I'm calm, but because I'm switching modes. This isn't about being heard anymore. This is about staying ahead. I open my leather notebook and slip the printed screenshot into the back pocket. The page in front of me is blank. I write a single line across the top, narrative control. Under it, I add, they excluded me intentionally. They're framing me as jealous, divided by unreliable, threatened me with property taxes and rumors. Evidence logged. My phone buzzes again, but I ignore it. I pour another glass of water and stand at the window. The Texas heat hits my face, even through the glass. I think about every convoy manifest I've built, every supply line I've protected. Same approach here. Verify, document, plan. There's a faint knock at my door. I freeze, then exhale when I hear Sergeant Isla Torres's voice calling. I know you're in there, Riley. Open up. I unlock the door. Issa steps in with a bag of takeout and a look that could cut through armor. You look like hell, she says. I've had better mornings, I reply. She sets the bag on the counter and starts unpacking containers. Thai food. You're going to eat while you tell me what's going on. When I lean against the counter watching her, Issa's been my friend since basic training. She's the only person who didn't flinch when I came back from Kuwait. They didn't invite me to Brianna's bridal shower. I say Mom's gaslighting me. Dolores threatened me. Isla looks up. That's textbook emotional manipulation. They're making you think you're the problem so you'll shut up. I nod slowly. You need to document everything, she says. Dates, times, screenshots. Treat it like an after-action review. I already started, I tell her, holding up my notebook. Good, she says. Because they're rewriting your story, and if you don't get ahead of it, they'll own it. I sit down at the table with the food. The smell of basil and chili fills the room. Isa pours water into a glass and pushes it toward me. For the first time all day, the tightness in my chest eases just a little, not because anything's fixed, but because someone else sees it clearly. We eat in silence for a few minutes. Then Isla says, So what's your plan? I pick up my fork and look at the screen of my phone, still glowing with the screenshot. My plan isn't formed yet, but a direction is. The next morning, I'm at my desk before sunrise, laptop open, coffee in hand, still tasting last night's Thai food. Isla's asleep on the couch, boots kicked off, like she's standing watch even while resting. I scroll through my inbox and see a subject line from American Cargo in Transit with my name on it. It's a company I lined up months ago from Kuwait, a solid logistics consulting contract that was supposed to bridge my transition out of the Army. The email is polite, full of corporate filler. After careful consideration, we've decided to move in a different direction. It's signed by the COO, a man who gave me his card at a veterans networking lunch last year and promised me first dibs on upcoming contracts. They don't even offer a reason. I read it 3 times. My hands tighten on the mug. That contract was 6 months of steady income and a foot in the door with commercial logistics. I open another tab and check my notes. Last week at the bridal shower photos, I saw the COO's wife in the background sitting next to Aunt Dolores. 2 dots connecting. I open LinkedIn and scroll through connections. Sure enough, Aunt Dolores' husband sits on the board of American Cargo and Transit. My throat a fellow veteran steps in and shows me the truth goes dry. The timing isn't random. I call the number from the business card. A receptionist picks up. "Mr. Harrison's in a meeting," she says. I leave a message anyway. My voice steady but clipped. "This is Captain Riley Monroe. Please call me back regarding the consulting agreement." I know he won't. I shut the laptop and lean back. My apartment feels smaller. The plan was simple. Finish deployment, slide into civilian consulting, build my own veteran-run firm within a year. Now the foundation's cracking before I've even unpacked. Issa stirs on the couch. "You're up early," she mumbles, rubbing her eyes. "I lost the contract," I tell her. She sits up. How? No explanation, but Dolores' husband is on their board. Her expression hardens. That's retaliation. "I can't prove it," I say. "Document it anyway," she replies. I nod and add it to my timeline. Date, time, sender, possible connection. My handwriting looks like briefing notes before a mission. By noon, another email lands. Westerly Home Goods, a regional retail chain I'd been negotiating with for a logistics overhaul, politely withdraws from discussions. Their owner goes to the same church as Aunt Dolores. 2 contracts gone in less than 24 hours. I stand at the window with my arms crossed. Outside the parking lot shimmers under the Texas Sunday. I've done everything by the book for 12 years. I've led convoys across hostile terrain. I've built supply chains from nothing. Yet here at home, one whisper from Aunt Dolores spreads faster than any rumor in a war zone. Issa's voice cuts through my thoughts. This isn't just family drama anymore. They're hitting your livelihood. "I know," I say quietly. "You still want to be in the wedding?" she asks. "I don't even know if I'd recognize myself if I showed up," I tell her. She shakes her head. "You've got to get out in front of this. Find allies outside the family." "I've got one," I say, thinking of Matt Caldwell. "Then use it," she says. I sit back down at my desk and open my portfolio. The screen glows with past projects, diagrams of convoy supply routes, cost-saving models, before and after metrics, proof of competence, proof that my little hobby is a business. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. "We heard you're telling people you weren't invited." "Please stop. This is hurting Brianna." I type back and delete the message before sending it. There's nothing to say that won't be twisted. I turn to Isla. "What do you do when your own family tries to erase you?" She leans on the counter. "You build your own story louder than theirs. That's what you taught me in Kuwait." Her words land heavier than she knows. I scroll through my contacts and stop at Matt Caldwell's name. We've only met on video calls, part of a veteran entrepreneurship program. He runs Caldwell Shipyard in Maine, a sprawling facility he converted into a hub for veteran-owned startups. He once said, "If you ever want to host something for vets, I've got space." My fingers hover over the call button. I don't press it yet, not because I'm unsure about him, but because I'm staring at the screen of my own notes. 2 contracts lost. Family narrative turning me into the villain. My mother leveraging property taxes. Aunt Dolores whispering rumors. It's all here like an ops plan from the other side. I grab a pen and draw a line across the bottom of the page. Under it, I write in capital letters. "I will not shrink." Issa watches me and raises an eyebrow. "What's that?" "A reminder," I tell her. She nods. "Good. Now eat something before you collapse." I push aside my laptop and take the plate she offers. The smell of reheated basil chicken fills the room. My appetite's gone, but I force a few bites. While I chew, my mind runs numbers, savings, upcoming bills, timeline before income dries up. It's grim, but not catastrophic. The Army taught me to plan contingencies. When I finish eating, I pull the laptop back. A new email notification blinks. Subject: update on professional references. It's from Barton Media, a client I worked with last year. They're reconsidering future collaborations after feedback about fit. I laugh under my breath. Feedback about fit code for someone said you're trouble. I glance at Isa. Third one gone. She exhales. They're burning bridges faster than you can build them, and one. I close the email and take a deep breath. My stomach's tight, but my head's clearer than it was this morning. This is an attack on two fronts: reputation and income. And the only way to fight back is to create something they can't control. I stand up and walk to the window. Cars move in and out of a new chance at the Caldwell Shipyard Veteran Workshop the lot. Ordinary life carrying on. My phone sits on the desk, glowing with Matt Caldwell's name. I reach for it and pick it up. Thinking about making that call, Isa asks. Yeah, I say. Then do it, she says. Worst he can say is no. I nod, but keep the phone in my hand. My pulse is steady now. The duffel bag's still by the door, my uniform jacket's clean again, hanging on a hook, the screenshots printed and tucked into my notebook. The contracts are gone, but the evidence is solid. I open my email to Matt and start typing. Matt, this is Riley Monroe. I've been thinking about your offer to host something for veterans. My fingers move faster as the words form a shape. It's not a plan yet, but it's a start. I don't hit send, not yet, but the draft sits there glowing on the screen. A line of text that feels different from everything else in my inbox. Not a loss, not a threat, a possibility. Isa sits back on the couch watching me. You're plotting something, she says. I smile without looking up. I'm taking notes. I push the laptop a little farther back on the table and stare at the unsent email to Matt. My fingers are still on the keyboard when Isa sets down a mug of tea next to me. You've been at this since 5, she says. Step away for a second. I can't, I answer. Every time I look away, something else disappears. That's exactly how they want you to feel, she says. Exhausted, cornered, reactive. I glance up at her. She's out of uniform, hair pulled back, still carrying the posture of a sergeant, even in a t-shirt. She sits down across from me and opens her own notebook. Let's get systematic, she says. You've been running logistics your whole career. Apply it to this. I nod and flip my notebook open. She starts asking questions like she's running a debrief. When did you first notice the exclusion? What's the earliest evidence? Who benefits? I give her dates and details. She jots them down. They're not just excluding you, she says after a while. They're building a story where you're the jealous, unstable sister. That's why the contracts are drying up. It's not just bad luck. I lean back, arms crossed. So what do? Start posting screenshots on Facebook? No, she says firmly. That's what they want. Proof you're dramatic. You stay disciplined. Gather facts. Build something they can't spin. I pick up my pen again. Like what? Like a record of every interaction. Names, dates, exact wording. You're already doing it. Keep it going. And stop answering texts, are bait. I glance at my phone. 3 unread messages from Mom. Too late for that. Not really, she says. Just don't feed the machine from now on. Her tone is steady but not cold. This is why we clicked in Kuwait. She has no patience for games. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a small leather-bound journal. Here, she says, I bought an extra. Write everything down, even stuff that feels minor. I take it and flip through blank pages. You carry spare journals. She shrugs. Habit. My mother still tries to write what happened with my brother's funeral. I learned the hard way. For a second, I look at her differently. We've shared stories in tents and chow halls, but never that one. She catches my glance. Yeah, she says. Gaslighting isn't new to me. That's why I know what it looks like. I run a hand over the cover of the journal. The leather is smooth and cool. Thanks, I say quietly. She leans forward. Here's the thing. You can't stop them from talking, but you can stop them from defining you. You've got skills, contacts, and an actual track record. Use it. I flip to the first page and start writing. Not just the calls and threats, but the contracts, names of decision makers, possible links to Dolores. As my pen moves, the noise in my head starts to clear. Good, Isa. Now you're running an operation, not reacting to one. The kettle clicks off. She gets up to pour more tea while I keep writing. It's mechanical but calming. After a while, she says, So, what's your next move? I look at the draft email to Matt still glowing on the screen. Maybe Maine. Tell me about it, she says. I explain the veteran entrepreneurship program, the shipyard space, the idea of hosting a small gathering for vets. As I talk, my voice steadies. That's it. She says, build your own thing. Show people what you're actually about instead of fighting rumors. I close the notebook and meet her eyes. You'd help me? Of course, she says. I've got leave saved up and I want to see Maine. I smile a little for the first time in days. We spend the rest of the morning mapping out my recent losses like it's a supply chain analysis. Contracts lost, dates of messages, who said what. Issa draws arrows between names. See? She says, all planning my own veterans honor gathering by the sea paths lead back to Dolores. I shake my head. She's not even subtle. She doesn't have to be. Issa says she thinks you'll roll over, and I set my pen down and stand up. The apartment feels a little less like a cage. Not this time, I say. Issa grins. That's the captain I remember. I take a breath and pour fresh coffee. The smell cuts through the fatigue. The laptop screen still shows Matt's email draft. My phone buzzes again with a new notification from Mom. Grandma's worried about you. Please behave. I delete it without opening. Issa raises an eyebrow. Progress, she says. Yeah, I reply. I slip the new journal into my bag next to my laptop. It feels heavier than it is, like a piece of armor. For the first time since coming home, I'm not just watching things fall apart. I'm building a record. We order sandwiches for lunch and eat at the kitchen table surrounded by papers. Isa starts a checklist of tasks for me. Update portfolio. Reach out to neutral contacts. Call Matt. She writes each item like a mission plan. This is what you're good at, she says. Planning under pressure. Don't let them push you off balance. I nod and check off the first item. Print evidence. My printer worsens, spits out screenshots, emails, call logs. I slide them into a folder labeled Family File. Isa taps the second item. Portfolio update. Show your real work, not what they say you are. I open my website and start tweaking new photos, case studies, testimonials from past clients. While I type, Issa emails a few veteran networks she's in, mentioning me as a speaker. It's quiet except for the clack of keys in the printer. Outside, a delivery truck rumbles past. Inside, the air feels cooler. After a while, Isla closes her laptop. You're calmer, she says. I'm working, I tell her. Good, she says. Work beats worry. I lean back and look around the apartment. The duffel bag's still by the door, but now there's a neat stack of folders on the table. It looks less like chaos, more like prep. I gathers the trash from lunch and tosses it. We'll need to book flights if you're serious about Maine, she says casually. I glance at her. You're really coming? Yeah, she says. Somebody's got to keep you from tackling people. I laugh once. Short and real. Fair enough. I pick up my phone and scroll to Matt's name again. The cursor in the email draft blinks. My thumb hovers over send. I don't press it yet, but not out of fear. I'm checking the wording like I'd check a convoy manifest. Details matter. Isla watches but doesn't push. She knows this part is mine to do. I read the email one more time, add a line about my idea for a veterans honor gathering and sit back. It's clear professional. No hint of desperation, just a proposal. The kettle clicks again. Issa pours herself more tea. The sound fills the apartment. I press save on the draft and close the laptop. Not because I'm done, but because my head's clearer. For the first time in weeks, I feel like I'm steering instead of drifting. I open the new journal to a fresh page and write a single sentence. No more shrinking. The letters are dark and sharp. Issa glances at it and nods. Good mantra, she says. I cap the pen and set it down. The apartment is still but not heavy. Outside, the sun is sliding lower, throwing long light across the floor. Inside, my phone rests on the table, Matt's name still on the screen. My fingers tap against the wood once, twice, measuring the rhythm like a countdown. The cursor blinks on Matt Caldwell's email address as I finally hit send. It's just a few clean paragraphs about wanting to visit the shipyard and talk about hosting a small event for veterans. But it feels like more than that. I slide the laptop shut and stand up. My shoulders loosen a little, like setting down a rucksack. 2 hours later, my phone rings with a Maine area code. I pick up. Captain Monroe, a man's voice says. Speaking. This is Matt Caldwell. Got your email. You're serious about coming up here? Yes, I say. Good, he replies. I like people who move fast. We've got a veteran entrepreneurship workshop next weekend. Come up, meet the crew. See the space. Bring a friend if you want. I glance at Issa, who's listening from the couch. We'll be there, I say. Matt gives me the address and a few travel tips, then hangs up with a simple looking forward to it. No corporate fluff, no passive-aggressive tone, just direct. I booked the flights that night. Keene to Boston, then a rental car up the coast to Maine. Issa handles the logistics like it's second nature. By the time we're done, we have a neat itinerary on my phone. The next morning, we're in Family Strikes Back. My sister moves her wedding date uniform casual clothes at the airport with carry-ons. Issa's scanning the terminal like she's on patrol. You sure about this? She asks as we board. Sure enough, I say. The flight is uneventful. We land, pick up the car, and start driving. The highway gives way to smaller roads lined with pine trees. Salt air drifts in through the cracked window. Maine looks nothing like Texas. When we pull into Caldwell Shipyard, the sign out front says, Founded 1946, rebuilt by veterans. The place is huge. Old brick warehouses next to new steel buildings. Cranes in the distance, flags snapping in the wind. Matt meets us at the entrance wearing a work jacket with his name stitched on it. He's about my age, maybe a few years older, with the calm confidence of someone who's built something from scratch. Welcome to the shipyard, he says, shaking my hand firmly. You must be Issa, she nods. Sergeant Torres, he smiles. Come on, I'll show you around. We follow him through the main building where a dozen veterans are setting up booths with displays of small businesses, woodworking, drone services, custom metalwork. He explains that he turned part of the shipyard into a business incubator for vets. We've got access to shipping lanes, warehouse space, and Old Navy contacts, he says. Perfect place to launch logistics ventures. I can't help but compare it to the small-minded gossip back home. Here, everyone's too busy building things to tear someone down. Matt stops at a large open hall with high windows facing the water. This is the event space, he says. We've hosted everything from training seminars to retirement parties. You could fit 50 people easy. I'm thinking smaller, I say. Maybe 18. A veterans honor gathering. He nods. I like it. Authentic, not flashy. Issa walks the perimeter taking photos with her phone. Great light, she says. Golden hour would be perfect here. I run my hand over one of the old wooden beams. It's solid, weathered, but strong. When's the next open weekend? I ask. Mid-May's wide open, Matt says. We've got a wedding on the calendar for June, but nothing before then. May 15, I say automatically, headjots it down. Consider it penciled in. You'll need to confirm in a week. Something inside me clicks. For months, I've been reacting. This feels like acting. Matt introduces us to a few other veteran business owners, each with a handshake and a quick story. A Navy corpsman turned coffee roaster. An Army mechanic now running a small fleet maintenance shop. No one here looks at me like I'm trouble. They look at me like a peer. We sit in on part of the workshop where a retired colonel talks about marketing veteran-owned businesses. He's blunt, funny, and practical. Issa takes notes while I watch the slide deck about authenticity over performance. The phrase sticks in my head. During lunch, Matt sits with us at a picnic table outside. So, tell me more about this gathering, he says. I describe my idea. A small ceremony honoring the people who've supported me. Combining my design skills with veteran traditions. Not a reaction to anything, I say. Just a celebration of who we are. That's the right approach. Matt says, build what you want, not what you're fighting against, Issa adds. She's got a portfolio of designs, menus, layouts, everything. Matt raises his eyebrows. Send it to me. We'll get you set up. I pull out my tablet and show him some sketches. He studies them and nods. Confident but not loud, he says. Feels like you. We spend the afternoon walking the docks. Old Navy ships sit moored alongside new civilian vessels. Matt talks about his transition from service to business. People back home wanted to box me in, he says. I stopped asking for permission. I glance at Isla. She gives me a small nod. The message is clear. Stop shrinking. Back inside the hall, Matt pulls out a calendar. Lock in your date by Friday and I'll hold the space, he says. No deposit yet. Just give me your guest list and logistics requirements. I can do that, I say. Hes miles. Good. And if you need a caterer, we've got a veteran-owned one down the road. As we wrap up, Issa snaps a few more photos. This place is gold, she whispers. I nod. It feels different. And we thank Matt and head back to the car. The sun's dropping toward the water, throwing long beams of light across the shipyard. I take a deep breath of salt air. It smells like work, like potential. In the car, Isa looks at me. You're already standing taller, she says. I feel it, I admit. She grins. Standing my ground against my mom and aunt's compromise. Now let's make a plan. We drive down the coast road with the windows open. My phone buzzes with a new message from Mom. I don't open it, not yet. The wind off the ocean is cool against my face. Back at the hotel, we spread papers across the desk. Issa starts drafting a guest list spreadsheet while I sketch layout ideas. 18 people, simple decor, a flag folded neatly on a table, local flowers. We talk about travel arrangements, seating, photography. This isn't some fantasy. It's a plan built on real dates, real names, real logistics. For the first time since stepping off the plane at Fort Hood, I feel like myself again. I close my notebook and look at Isla. We're doing this, I say. She nods. Yeah, we are. Outside the window, the Atlantic stretches dark and steady. Inside, our laptops glow with spreadsheets and sketches. My phone vibrates again on the table, but I leave it face down. Right now, it's just background noise. The hotel room smells like salt air and printer ink as Isla lays out her laptop on the desk and starts typing names into a spreadsheet. I pull up a chair beside her with my notebook already open to a fresh page. 18 guests, no one out of obligation, only people who have actually shown up for me. The first 10 names go down fast. Fellow soldiers, mentors, 2 civilian clients who stuck by me after the rumors started. Issa glances at my list. This is tighter than any wedding invite list, she says. That's the point, I answer. I'm not performing, I'm honoring. End quote. She types faster, adding columns for travel, lodging, dietary needs. She's got the calm efficiency of a staff sergeant running a supply convoy. I start sketching layouts for the space at Caldwell Shipyard. Tables in a horseshoe facing the water. A long table with framed photos of deployments. A folded flag in the center, not as a gimmick, but as a marker of who we are. I jot down colors. Amber and sage for flowers, dark blue table runners. Nothing like a wedding. Everything like a gathering music? Issa asks without looking up. Instrumental. Local veteran band, maybe, I say. Nothing loud, just enough for background. She nods. Catering? Matt mentioned a veteran-owned company down the road. I reply, I'll call them tomorrow. We work like that for hours, moving from one detail to another. Every choice feels like a small act of reclaiming control. By evening, my sketches cover 2 pages, and Issa's spreadsheet looks like an OP order. She pushes the screen toward me. Flights, hotels, carpool options. We can cover almost everyone's travel with your savings. I scan the numbers. That works, she leans back. This isn't just a party, it's a statement. I look at her. A statement about what? That you're not who they say you are, she says simply. The words land like a pin hitting a map. I go back to my sketches. Later that night, I'm on the phone with the caterer Matt recommended a Marine vet named Chris, who now runs a small farm-to-table outfit. He's straightforward. No hard sell, 18 guests, May 15th, coastal menu. I tell him got it, he says. I'll send sample menus by tomorrow. No deposit yet. I thank him and hang up. Another piece in place. Isla looks up from her screen. You're good at this, she says. This is what I do, I reply. Plan, execute, adjust. We go over the guest list again. She highlights a name. You sure about inviting Thomas? He's been solid, I say. He turned down Brianna's wedding when he found out I wasn't invited. She nods. Okay then. I flip to another page in my notebook and draw a rough timeline from now until May 15th. Tasks, calls, confirmations. It looks like a deployment schedule, but with better food. The next morning, sunlight hits the desk before 6. I'm already up answering emails. 3 guests confirm. Chris sends over a sample menu heavy on seafood. Matt texts me a photo of the hall at golden hour with the caption, "This is your spot." I show it to Isla. She smiles. Perfect. We spend the day visiting local vendors. A florist, Another veteran spouse agrees to source amber and sage blooms. A photographer friend of Issa's offers to shoot the event for free. Everywhere we go, the conversations are quick and practical. No one asks me to prove I'm stable. No one hints that I'm dramatic. Back at the hotel, I spread out everything on the bed. Menus, color swatches, sketches. Issa sits cross-legged on the floor with her laptop. "We're ahead of schedule," she says. "That's a first," I answer. My phone, the Veterans Honor Gathering, becomes my turning point buzzes. A new message from Mom. "Family thinks you're being selfish. Don't embarrass us." I delete it. Another from Aunt Dolores. "We moved the wedding date May 15. Hope you're happy dividing people." I stare at the screen. Issa notices. "What is it?" "They moved the wedding to the same day." I say. She swears under her breath. "Of course they did." I exhale slowly. "They're trying to force me to cancel." "What are you going to do?" she asks. I look at the sketches on the bed, the spreadsheet on her laptop, the messages from guests already booking flights. My answer comes without hesitation. "I'm not changing a thing." "Good," Issa says. "Then we plan like nothing's changed." "Oh, what?" We go back to our work, but the stakes feel different now. This isn't just logistics anymore. It's a test of will. I update my guest emails with travel details, making sure everyone knows exactly where to be and when. Issa calls the caterer to confirm menus. Matt texts about chairs and tables. The pieces fall into place one by one. At dinner, Issa says they'll spin this as you being vindictive. "I know," I say, but I'm not reacting to them. I'm creating my own thing. Chenods. That's the key. After dinner, we sit by the window looking at the dark Atlantic. The shipyard lights flicker in the distance. I think about all the times I bent to make family gatherings easier. All the times I muted myself so Brianna could shine. Not this time. I pull the new journal from my bag and write. "They moved the wedding. We're keeping our date." Under it, I add, "This isn't about them." Issa glances at the page and smiles. "That's your rallying cry?" "No." I close the journal and set it on the nightstand. The room is quiet except for the low hum of the heater. Outside, waves hit the shore, steady and unbothered. Inside, our laptops glow with guest lists and floor plans. The phone buzzes again, but I don't reach for it. I focus on the smell of salt air and the sound of Issa tapping keys. Each detail we finalize is another line of defense, another piece of proof that my life isn't defined by someone else's invitation. We work late into the night until the checklist on Issa's screen turns green with completed tasks. Flights booked. Venue held. Menu chosen. Photographer secured. Flowers reserved. She stretches and shuts her laptop. "We're locked in," she says. I nod and flip my notebook closed. The plan sits there solid and real. Not a reaction, but an intention. For the first time since this started, I'm not bracing for the next hit. I'm moving forward. The morning after finalizing the vendor contracts, I wake up to a cluster of notifications buzzing across my nightstand. I scroll through them while Issa showers. 3 missed calls from Mom, 2 texts from Brianna, and 1 from Aunt Dolores. The top message reads, "Grandma's asking why you're trying to split the family. Call me." I set the phone down and open the curtains. The main sky is clear and sharp. Down on the street, fishermen are loading crates of lobsters into a van. Normal life, no drama. The contrast makes the phone in my hand feel heavier. Isa emerges toweling her hair. "They're at it again," she asks. "Non-stop," I say. She sits on the edge of the bed. "Read me one, Iskroll." The next text from Brianna. "You've always hated when I get attention. Stop making this about you," the one from Aunt Dolores. "You're stressing Grandma. Cancel your little party before she ends up in the hospital." Issa whistles low. Classic guilt trip. Len. I thumb out a simple reply to no one. Nothing. I delete the notifications and place the phone face down. "Progress," Isla says, sipping her coffee. I nod. "They're not going to stop." "Then we double down," she says. We sit at the small hotel table with our laptops. She pulls up the guest spreadsheet and starts confirming travel details while I finalize the seating plan. The clack of keys is steady. Outside, gulls cry. Inside, my pen moves over the page, marking names, tables, and arrival times. At noon, Matt calls. "You okay?" he asks. "Fine," I say. Good, because the hall's looking great. We just finished refinishing the floors. Send me your final layout tonight. I will, I promise. He pauses. Look, I know family pressure. Don't let them shake you off. You've got a good thing here. Thanks, Matt, I say quietly. We hang up. Issa's already typing emails to guests confirming hotel blocks. Her face is calm, but her jaw's set. By mid-afternoon, a new message arrives from Mom. Grandma called crying. You're tearing us apart. Going viral and cracking the family narrative. Please cancel. Attached is a photo of my grandmother sitting at her kitchen table looking tired. I show it to Isla. She's playing every card. Issa says, I know, I reply. Want me to answer? She asks. No, I say I'm not feeding it. Instead, I call Grandma directly. She picks up on the second ring. Hi, Grandma. It's Riley. Aza. Honey, why are you causing so much trouble? She asks, her voice small. I'm not causing trouble, I say gently. I'm hosting a small gathering for veterans. That's all. They told me you're doing it to ruin Brianna's wedding, she says. That's not true, I answer. I picked my date months ago. Another pause. I don't like conflict, she says. I don't either, I tell her. But I can't cancel something I built in good faith, she sigh. I just want everyone to get along. Oh, I know, I says awfully. Me too. We end the call without anger. I put the phone down and stare out the window at the harbor. The water glints under the sun, steady and indifferent to our family drama. Asa watches me. You handled that well, she says. I'm tired of being baited, he answers. She nods. That's how you win. We go back to work. I email Matt the finale out. Isa check Hicks catering numbers with Chris. Every task we finish is one less point of leverage for them. Later that afternoon, my cousin Thomas calls. Hey, Cap. He says family group chat's melting down. They're telling everyone you scheduled your party on purpose to sabotage Brianna. I know, I say. Well, for what it's worth, I'm still coming to Maine, he says. Got my ticket already. Thanks, Thomas, I say. He chuckles. Never liked fancy hotel weddings anyway. We hang up. I add his arrival time to the spreadsheet. Issa raises her eyebrows at me. Loyalty is contagious, she says. That's the plan, I reply. Evening comes. We drive to the shipyard to walk through the hall one more time. Matt's crew has set up tables and chairs as a mock layout. The floors gleam, the windows face the sunset, and the salt wind moves through the open doors. I stand in the center of the room, imagining it filled with people who actually support me. It's not revenge, it's a reset. Issa snaps a few more photos for our files. This place feels like a forward operating base, she says, except with better food. I laugh quietly. And no incoming fire unless you count texts from Dolores. She jokes. We go over the seating plan with Matt, who makes notes about outlets and staging areas for the caterer. You've got this dialed in, he says. Impressive. Logistics is what I do, I say. Shows. He answers. On the drive back, Issa asks, You ever think about inviting your mom anyway just to call their bluff? I grip the steering wheel. If she wants to come, she knows where to find me, but I'm not begging for it. Fair enough, she says. Back at the hotel, we spread out our materials again. I check the vendor contracts once more. Everything's confirmed. The only variable left is whether my family will keep escalating. I open my journal and write. Held the line today. Called Grandma directly. No apologies for existing. The act of writing calms me. Isla flips through her notes. Tomorrow we finalize decor. She says, Good, I reply. The heater hums. Outside, a buoy bell clangs somewhere in the dark water. Inside, our laptops glow with steady light. My phone buzzes again, but I leave it face down. Issa stretches. You've come a long way from that first morning, she says. I feel it, I admit. She grins. You're not the drama anymore. You're the commander. I smile faintly. About time. She closes her laptop. Sleep. Big day tomorrow. I nod and set my pen down. The room feels quiet, but not tense. Like the pause before a well-planned operation executes on the nightstand. My journal lies open to the last entry. The ink is still wet, but the words are steady. No more shrinking. No more bait. The knock comes just as I'm taping the last box of decorations. Issa's at the kitchen counter labeling guest bags when I glance through the peephole. My mother stands on the landing with her purse clutched tight and Aunt Dolores beside her in a stiff blazer, face set like she's here to close a deal. I open the door slowly. "Riley, sweetheart," my mother says with forced cheer. "We thought we should talk." He stepped back. "Come in." They walk in without hesitation, eyes scanning my living room like inspectors. The sketches for the ceremony are laid out on the table, floral swatches neatly stacked beside Final Reflection, Family Revenge Story, or Chosen Family. Menus. Dolores's gaze sweeps over them with a faint sneer. "This has gone fair enough," she says, not bothering with small talk. I stay standing while they sit on the sofa. Issa stays in the kitchen, but with an earshot, arms crossed. My mother smooths invisible wrinkles on her slacks. "Your grandmother is very stressed about this situation. We'd like to propose a compromise." I raise an eyebrow. "Compromise? You can attend Brianna's reception. The evening portion only," she says carefully. "Cancel your party. Show the family you're willing to cooperate." Dolores leans forward. "Think about how this looks, Riley. 2 events on the same day divides the family. It forces people to choose sides. It's not healthy for your grandmother." The manipulation is so obvious, it almost makes me laugh. Instead, I walk to my drafting table and return with a leather portfolio. "I'd like to show you something," I say. I open it to reveal watercolor sketches of the shipyard hall set for 18 guests. This is what we've planned. It's not a wedding. It's a gathering to honor veterans and friends who supported me. My mother glances at the pages, brow furrowing. "But why didn't you tell us?" "I respected your decision to exclude me." I answer evenly. "I didn't think you'd want to know." Dolores snorts. "This doesn't change anything. Playing dress-up won't make your little event equal to Brianna's wedding." I look at her squarely. "I'm not playing anything. These designs aren't pretend. They're my profession. The profession you've dismissed as a hobby for years." I slide a brochure across the coffee table showing logos of 3 national brands I've worked with. "While you've been telling people I'm jealous and unstable, I've been building a business that pays for this condo." My mother shifts uncomfortably. "We never meant to hurt you," she says quietly. "I'm not asking anyone to choose." I interrupt gently. "You made your choice months ago. This celebration isn't about Brianna. It isn't even about you." Dolores stands abruptly, pacing toward the window where photos of my deployments hang on the wall. "You're twisting everything around," she says sharply. "Fiona Brianna's wedding costs $95,000 at the Grand Hotel. 200 guests. That's what a real celebration looks like." I smile, not unkindly. "That sounds lovely for Brianna. I hope she feels truly seen there." For the first time, my mother looks smaller than I've ever seen her. "Were we really that cruel?" she asks softly. I meet her eyes. "You taught me I wasn't worth including," I say, voice calm but firm. "I taught myself I was worth celebrating." She opens her mouth, but her phone chimes with a text. She reads it, face paling slightly. "Your cousin Deborah is asking if she can come to your ceremony instead of Brianna's," she murmurs. "How does she even know about it?" "People talk," I answer. "The same way they talked about excluding me." Dolores grabs her purse. "This is ridiculous," she mutters. I'm not sitting here while she pretends she's the victim. She storms toward the door, heels clicking. My mother remains seated, eyes on the sketches. "You really planned all this yourself?" she asks quietly. "With Isla and Matt." I say, "We've got vendors, flights, everything." She traces a finger over the drawing of the folded flag centerpiece. "It's beautiful," she admits. I don't respond. The weight of the moment hangs between us. Finally, she stands. "I need to think," she says. "That's all I've ever asked," I reply. She hesitates at the door. "Riley?" Her voice trails off. Then she shakes her head and follows Dolores down the hall. The door closes. The apartment is silent except for Issa's quiet breathing behind me. I exhale slowly and set the portfolio back on the table. My hands aren't shaking. Issa steps out of the kitchen. "You didn't back down," she says. "No," I answer. She smiles faintly. "That was a masterclass in staying calm. Ishrug. I just told the truth." We start cleaning up the table, stacking sketches and swatches. I slide the brochure back into the folder and zip it shut. The air in the apartment feels lighter, like a window's been opened. Issa tosses me a bottle of water. How do you feel? Like myself, I say. She nods. Good, because tomorrow we finalize the seating chart. I sit at the table again, pulling the laptop toward me. The screen glows with the spreadsheet of names. A new email sits at the top from Deborah. Is there still space for me at your gathering? I glance at Issa. She raises an eyebrow. Well, I'll reply after we're done here, I say. I open my journal to a fresh page and write. Met with Mom and Dolores, showed the portfolio. Stood firm, no yelling, no apology. The letters are clean and dark. Isla looks over my shoulder. That's the real record, she says. Yeah. I answer outside the window. The late afternoon sun hits the balcony garden. The small flags Issa stuck in the flower pots flutter in the breeze. Inside, the table is clear again, except for the guest list and my journal. I take a long drink of water and set the bottle down. Time to lock in the final details, I say. Issa nods. Let's do it. We lean over the laptop together, entering arrival times, hotel rooms, and meal preferences. The work feels steady and solid. No rush, no panic, just execution. My phone vibrates once more on the counter, but I don't pick it up. The screen goes dark. My attention stays on the rows of names and numbers. They're a life we're building line by line. The morning sun over the Maine coast breaks through thin clouds as Issa and I pull into the shipyard parking lot. The tide is low, gulls scatter over the water, and Matt's crew is already unloading rental chairs from a truck. I get out, coffee in hand, and for the first time in months, my heartbeat isn't racing from dread, but from focus. Inside the hall, the floors gleam like fresh wood on a parade deck. The smell of salt mixes with flowers in amber and sage lined up in buckets. Chris, the caterer, stands by a long prep table, giving orders to his staff. Captain Monroe, he calls out when he spots me. Your menu's ready to go. Great, I answer, shaking his hand. Thank you for working with us. No problem, he says. We like supporting our own. Issa heads straight for the windows to test camera angles. Light's perfect, she says. Golden hour is going to be stunning. Matt comes in carrying a small American flag in a display case. Found this in storage, he says. Thought it might fit your theme. I run a hand over the glass. It's perfect. He sets it on the honor table we built yesterday. A simple wooden surface with framed photos of deployments and names of guests who served. The flag becomes the quiet centerpiece. By noon, the hull is ready. Tables arranged in a wide horseshoe facing the water. Place settings crisp but not fussy. Centerpieces of local flowers tied with navy ribbon. Soft instrumental music plays from a veteran-owned band warming up near the back. The smell of seafood and fresh bread drifts in from the kitchen. Guests start arriving in twos and threes. Thomas walks in first, a duffel over his shoulder, grinning. This place is unreal, he says. Way better than a hotel ballroom. I hoo him briefly. Glad you made it. One by one, people I've worked with or served with come through the door. A logistics officer from my first deployment. A civilian mentor who stuck with me after the contract cancellations. A Navy corpsman I met at a training exercise. Each handshake or hug feels like a small affirmation. Issa moves through the room, snapping candid photos, blending in like a professional. Matt checks on the kitchen. Chris's staff sets out trays of food with quiet efficiency. There's no stage, no speeches written, just a plan to honor each other. I greet every guest personally, guiding them to their seats. No assigned tables, I explain. Sit where you feel comfortable. The atmosphere is warm but steady, like a well-run operation. Conversations flow easily. People exchange stories about deployments, transitions, small business headaches. No one's jockeying for spotlight. As we settle in, the band plays a low opening piece. I stand at the center of the horseshoe and simply say, "Thank you for coming." My voice doesn't shake. This isn't about rank or resumes. It's about recognizing each other's work and survival. Applause rises, not loud, but genuine. We eat, talk, and laugh. Chris's seafood stew disappears fast. Someone uncorks a bottle of wine Thomas brought. Issa catches a photo of two veterans comparing tattoos while Matt refills coffee. It feels like the opposite of the stiff photo op events I've endured in the past. Halfway through the meal, my phone buzzes on the honor table. I glance at it, Mom. I let it go dark. Another buzz, Aunt Dolores, another unknown number. I leave it face down. Thomas notices. They're watching, he murmurs. Let them, I say quietly. After lunch, we do a simple recognition. No speeches, just each guest sharing one line about someone who helped them after service. It's raw and unscripted. When it's my turn, I look at Isla. This friend, I say, reminded me that facts matter more than narratives. She grins, camera still in hand. Matt stands last. You've built something real here, he says. Don't let anyone tell you different. The room goes still for a second. Then people start clapping. Not for me, but for all of us. Issa moves to the window and signals. Golden hour light pours in, catching the flag on the honor table. She takes a series of shots as everyone mingles. The light making everything look almost cinematic, but still real people eating, talking, smiling. Nothing staged. Chris brings out dessert and coffee. A few guests wander outside to the deck where the water slaps gently against pilings. The smell of salt air mixes with fresh pie. I stand at the railing with Thomas. You know half the family is talking about this on Facebook right now? He says. I'm sure, I answer. You care? He asks. I shake my head. Not today. He smiles. Good answer. Back inside, Issa shows me a few of the shots on her camera. The flag, the flowers, the faces. They look exactly how it feels. Solid, authentic, unforced. Magazine's going to love these, she says. I shrug. Even if they don't, I do. We help clear plates and refill drinks. Matt's crew moves quietly in the background. Noon's treating me like a problem child or a jealous sister. I'm just a captain running a well-executed plan. As the sun dips lower, the band plays one last instrumental. People start sharing contact info, making promises to meet again. I hand each guest a small thank you card with their name handwritten and a pressed sprig from my balcony garden back in Texas. It's not expensive, just personal. One guest, a retired colonel, looks at the card and says, "This is better than any award I ever got." I laugh softly. It's just a plant, I say. It's acknowledgement, he answers. The moment sticks with me. When the last tray is cleared and the band packs up, Matt claps me on the shoulder. You pulled it off, he says. Seamless. Couldn't have done it without you, I reply. He gestures around. This is what the shipyard's for. Real connections, not empty optics. Isla packs her camera gear, smiling. Wait till you see these shots, she says. I walk back into the hall one more time. Empty now, except for the flag still on the honor table. The light from the windows has shifted to a deep gold. I pick up the flag case and hold it for a moment. It feels heavy but right. Outside on the deck, guests are still chatting in small groups, the sky turning orange over the water. I stand in the doorway watching them, people who came because they wanted to, not because they were obligated. It's quiet, steady, real. I set the flag back down and take a deep breath. The smell of salt, flowers, and fresh coffee mixes in the air. My phone is still on the honor table, buzzing now with another round of notifications, but my hands stay at my sides. Issa walks up next to me. Everything you planned happened, she says. Yeah, I reply. She tilts her head. How's it feel? Like I stopped chasing approval, I say, and started living my own story. She nods once. Good. We step out onto the deck with the others. The breeze cool against our faces. The conversations flow. The sun keeps sinking, and the shipyard smells of sea and wood and possibility. Nothing about this moment feels like a performance. It's just what it is. My event, my people, and a day that finally belongs to me. By the time Issa uploads the last batch of photos from the shipyard onto her editing software, my phone is already lighting up with new alerts. She tilts her screen to show me one of the images, the flag glinting in golden light with our guests laughing around the tables. These are going to get attention, she says. Let them, I answer. The next morning, Matt calls. You're not going to believe this, he says. Modern Service magazine just reached out. They saw Issa's preview post and want to feature the gathering. I sit down on the edge of the bed. They do? Yeah. Matt says they think it's the first authentic veteran-led event they've seen that isn't just a photo op. They want an interview. I can hear GS crying faintly in the background of his call. Send them my email. I say already did. He replies, Congrats, Captain. When I hang up, Issa's grinning at me. Told you. She says the pictures tell the story better than any press release. I open my inbox. The magazine's email is at the top. They want high-res photos, a short write-up of my design process, and a quote about authentic connection over performance. I type back a simple yes, attach the files, and hit send. No hesitation. By afternoon, Issa's preview post has over 10,000 likes. Comments flood in from strangers praising the idea of honoring veterans in a personal way. Some share their own stories. Others ask how to support. Then the family texts start. Mom, why are you making this public? It's hurting Brianna. Itan Dolores, out of respect for your sister. Take down those posts. Brianna herself. You're stealing my thunder. Unbelievable. I set the phone down and keep working on invoices for my business. For once, the noise doesn't derail me. 2 days later, the Modern Service article goes live. Issa reads it aloud over coffee. Captain Riley Monroe transformed a lifetime of military logistics into a celebration of authenticity at Maine's historic Caldwell Shipyard, a counterpoint to the spectacle of traditional family events. She glances at me. They didn't even have to mention Brianna's wedding to make the contrast obvious. I shrug. They can draw their own conclusions. The article spreads fast. A design blogger reposts Issa's photos with a headline, "When Authentic Beats Extravagant." Another veteran organization shares it on their newsletter. My website traffic triples overnight. Within a week, I have 3 new inquiries from major clients. They're not small freelance gigs, they're full campaigns. I fill in the details on my calendar while Issa edits more photos. The family group chat, according to Thomas, is in chaos. Different relatives have been told different stories. Some were told I declined the wedding invitation. Others were told I planned my event to sabotage Brianna. Now, the article's timeline shows my date was set months earlier. The contradictions are showing. My grandmother calls again. Riley, she says. I read the article. It was beautiful. Thank you, Grandma, I say gently. I don't understand why they didn't invite you, she says softly. They told me something else. I know, we answer. A long pause. I'm proud of you, she says. I close my eyes. That means a lot, asked her. After we hang up, I write in my journal. Cracks appearing in the family narrative. Stay steady. That evening, a cream-colored envelope arrives by courier with Aunt Dolores's handwriting. Inside is a short letter. Decline the magazine feature immediately, out of respect for Brianna's privacy during this difficult time. No greeting, no signature. 7 weeks ago, my hands would have shaken. Now I just slide the letter back into its envelope and set it on the table. What will you do? I asks. I walk to my desk, pull out a copy of the magazine, and slip it into a mailing envelope with a note I've written without hesitation. I'm not competing with Brianna. I'm completing my own story. I seal the envelope calmly, no tightness in my chest. The transformation still surprises me how completely I've stopped seeking validation from people determined to withhold it. 2 days later, Isla calls from the shipyard office while I'm on a client call. Showcase is confirmed, she announces. 30 designers and you're the headliner. The theme is authentic connection over manufactured perfection. I lean back in my chair. You're serious? Dead serious, she says. They want you to present your process and how you built the Veterans Honor Gathering. I hang up and look around my apartment. The duffel bag that once symbolized coming home sits empty by the door. My desk is covered with client briefs, not panic notes. That evening, Matt texts me a screenshot. Our events photos on the front page of a popular design blog. Underneath, hundreds of comments praising the meaningful details and lack of empty extravagance. Thomas calls. You're trending, he says, laughing. Meanwhile, Brianna's wedding hashtag has like 3 photos. I'm not trying to compete, I say. Doesn't matter, here plies. Truth's out. Issa walks in holding a bottle of wine. We should toast to facts winning over fiction, she says. I pour 2 glasses, we clink. Tacos and family, she says. To chosen family, I echo. The next morning, my inbox holds an email from California Wedding Quarterly requesting an interview about my design work. The irony makes me laugh. While I'm replying, my phone buzzes with a new message from Mom. We need to talk. I don't open it right away. Instead, I keep typing my response to the magazine, outlining my process in clear professional terms. By afternoon, I'm on a video call with the showcase organizers. They're enthusiastic and practical. We're featuring artists who've reimagined traditional approaches. The coordinator says, Your project's a perfect example. I nod, happy to contribute. When the call ends, I look at Isla. Remember when they said my business was a hobby? She grins. Not anymore. We spend the rest of the day prepping visuals for the showcase. I design slides highlighting not just the aesthetics, but the logistics, how we coordinated vendors, travel, and seating. It feels like a briefing, but with color swatches. Evening comes. The sun sets over Portland, casting long light across my balcony. My phone buzzes with another message from Mom, but I leave it face down on the table next to the wine glasses. Inside, Issa arranges prints for my presentation while I finalize a client contract. This isn't payback, it's progress. I step outside for fresh air. A cardinal lands on the railing, bright red against the dimming sky. The same kind of bird I saw the day I discovered the bridal shower photos. It sits for a moment, then flies off over the rooftops. I go back inside, slide my journal closer, and write, Magazine feature live. Showcase confirmed. Work steady. No more shrinking. Issa looks up. Ready for tomorrow? She asks. I'm already in it, I say. The room feels light, anchored by action rather than reaction. Outside city lights flicker on. Inside, our laptops glow with work that finally reflects who I am. My phone vibrates again, but I let it be. Right now, there's nothing to fix, only to build. Boxes of print materials for the showcase sit neatly stacked in the corner of my new apartment. The walls are bare but full of light from tall windows, a quiet space above downtown that feels more like a launch pad than a refuge. Issa is at the table going through her camera cards and Matt's name flashes on my phone. They're here, Matt says when I answer. Come down to the deck. I grab my jacket and head out. The air smells of salt and fresh paint as I walk along the dock. The shipyard looks different now, less like a venue and more like a part of my life. Matt waits by the railing, a cup of coffee in his hand. Thought you'd want to see this, he says, pointing toward the hall where our gathering took place. Through the windows, I can see workers setting up for another event, but the flag we used is still in its case on the honor table. I rest my hands on the railing. Hard to believe it's been just a few weeks, I say. Feels longer, Matt replies. Good longer. Issa comes down the steps carrying a folder. The magazine sent over the printed feature, she says. She hands it to me. On the glossy pages are photos of our event. The folded flag, the guests laughing, the amber flowers against the sea. The headline reads, Captain Monroe redefines his veteran gatherings with authentic connection. I run a thumb over the image. It looks exactly how it felt. It was exactly how it looked. Issa says, no staging required. We stand there for a moment, the three of us watching the tide roll in. No one is checking phones. No one is waiting for the next jab from family chat. Matt takes a sip of coffee. You built something solid, he says. Most people never get past talking about it. Couldn't have done it alone, I answer. Sure you could have, Isla says. You just shouldn't have to. Her words land quietly. Up on the deck, Thomas walks over carrying 2 cardboard boxes. Mail just came, he says. Aunt Dolores again. I open the top box. Inside are unsent wedding programs from Brianna's event, cream-colored with gold trim. On top is a note in Dolores' handwriting. You made your point. No greeting, no explanation. I fold the note and tuck it into my journal, not as a trophy, but as evidence of what's changed. She's still trying to frame the story, I murmur. Lether. Issa says people saw the truth. Thomas shrugs. Families splitting their time now. Some of them are even talking about planning their own veteran support events. That would be something, I say. We carry the boxes into the hall and set them aside. Matt's crew is preparing for another workshop. This one on veteran-owned logistics businesses. I recognize 2 faces from our gathering. They wave. I walk back out onto the deck. The sun glints off the water, and for the first time in years, I don't feel like I'm pushing against a wall. I feel like the ground under me is firm. My phone buzzes once. It's a text from my mother. I'm thinking about coming to your showcase. No promises. I read it twice, then put the phone back in my pocket without replying. Not out of anger, but because there's nothing to resolve. My life isn't a negotiation anymore. Issa leans against the railing. What are you going to talk about at the showcase? she asks. Process, I say. How logistics can be used to build connection instead of control. That's good, she says. Matt nods. That's your lane. Authenticity with systems. I laugh softly. Who knew? A breeze picks up, snapping the flag on the dock. I watch it for a moment. You ever wonder? I say if healing requires both sides. Issa studies the water. Sometimes. But sometimes, the healthiest thing is to build something new and let others choose. I look down at my hands on the railing. I think that's where I'm at. We fall silent, just listening to the water and the distant clang of tools. Guests from our gathering have started emailing me about collaborations. The showcase organizers confirmed my slot as headliner. My calendar is full, not with damage control, but with creative work. Thomas sets a coffee in front of me. You look lighter, he says. I am, I answer. He smiles. Good. We walk back toward the hall together. Inside, Issa is pinning prints of our event to a display board for the showcase. This panel's going to hit, she says. I step beside her, aligning a photo of the honor table. It's all real, I say. No need to embellish. And exactly, she answers. Matt checks his watch. You've got a client call in 10, he reminds me. I'll take it here, I say. He grins. Shipyard conference room beats a hotel lobby any day. I nod and pull out my laptop. The screen lights up with the faces of 2 new corporate clients. They want to discuss a long-term contract based on my logistics approach. We talk numbers and timelines, clear and businesslike. Noon asks me to defend my stability. No one brings up family drama. When the call ends, Issa hands me a print of the magazine article. Frame this for your new office, she says. Maybe, I reply. Or just keep moving forward. We pack up the display board and carry it to the truck. Matt locks the hall behind us. The smell of sea and wood follows us back onto the deck. I pause at the railing one more time. The water is calm, the sky pale blue. The shipyard flags ripple in the wind. This isn't a dramatic ending or a triumphant pose. It's just me standing where I built something that mattered, surrounded by people who showed up because they wanted to. Issa rests a hand on my shoulder. You ready? She asks. I nod. Yeah. We head toward the parking lot, the sound of gulls overhead. In my pocket, my phone vibrates with another message from my mother. I don't look. I keep walking. The air tastes like salt and new paint. On the seat of the truck lies my journal open to a fresh page. Before starting the engine, I pick up a pen and write. This is the first time I've celebrated without worrying how they'd twist it. I underline it once and close the book. Issa starts the truck. Matt waves from the dock. The shipyard recedes in the mirror as we drive out, but the sense of steadiness stays. No revenge high, no hollow victory.